So I'm going to tell you a story about the banana man. But a few facts first about banana. I don't know whether you know about this. Banana is actually not a fruit, but a berry. Because it grows on the herb plant and is actually the tallest and largest plant in the world without a woody trunk. Wow. So it's a very interesting. It grows from a rhizome. Rhizome is like a potato and a lotus. It does not have roots, nor has any seeds. The way it propagates is through cuttings, and this means that they are all clones. Because they are clones, they lack the genetic diversity. So one disease that develops against one plant can easily wipe out the entire species of banana. Wow. And this already happened a couple of times in the world. Like Big Mike and Cavendish, they're already gone from the earth. And so now make sure that you enjoy your fruit, your banana while you can. It might disappear the next day when you get wiped out. But enough about banana. Today I'm going to tell you a story about this banana man, Sam Zen Murray. Sam, this is what it looks like. It looks like I have way too many bananas. I don't think there's another man that's more entangled with a fruit or berry, for that matter, than Sam Zen Murray. Sam Zen Murray is a Russian Jew. He arrived in America 1891. He was gangly and penniless, very poor. He saw and ate his first banana, 1893, about 20 years into the American banana trade. And these are the early heydays of the steam engine boats. And the banana was very fastly becoming a luxury, exotic luxury fruit that people are starting to eat them. And the problem with the banana is that it cannot be grown in the US. Very hard to grow. And it can only be, it's very difficult to transport, even harder to transport, because it's a fragility and very short shelf life. We know how short it is. So the 6'3" Sam Zen Murray, he started out as a fruit peddler, and then he becomes a banana hauler, and then he became a dockside hustler along the Mississippi River. He settled in New Orleans, got married at age 31, and his daughter was born a year later. As a good immigrant parents, he wants to give the best to his daughter, and he decided that he needs to expand his company. To do that, he needed to expand his supplier base. And to do that, that brought him to Central America. Sam Murray, the first time he visited Honduras, he bought 5,000 acres of land, junk land, barren land, immediately for $2,000, all with borrowed cash. Then he borrowed some more and bought some more lands, leveraged to the max. But he leveraged his know-how from his days growing up in the farms in Russia. He turned those barren land into the most fertile banana farm. So he also bribed the Honduras government into giving him the best tax break that he could get. When the government tried to back out a deal, he overthrew the government. He organized a mercenary and just overthrew the government. So he got an even better tax break after that. When he expanded his plantation into Guatemala, he started butting against this United Fruits territory. United Fruits was the biggest fruit company in the world at that time. There was conflict between the two companies, escalated, And the US government has to step in because that's starting to affect their relationship in Central America, especially during the Panama Canal days. And so they were forced, the two companies were forced to merge by the US government. And they end up with the 64% of the entire banana market without any antitrust concern.
Wow.
Sam Murray walked away with the shares of United Foods of $30 million in 1929. That's about $420 million today's dollar. Was he ready to retire? No, not quite. The Great Depression hit. He saw his wealth drop into $3 million to 10%. He came out with a plan to turn around the company. He presented the plan to the board of directors. The board of directors did not show any gratitude. He was slighted and mocked, and so we went back. A few months later, he collected all the proxy votes. He presented to the board of directors and threw down the proxy votes, overthrew the entire board of directors, took over as the CEO of the company, United Foods. That's why the title, Fish That Ate the Whale.
Oh.
That's where the story came from. So that's now rosy because World War II happened again. The banana ship were being sunk by German U-boat during the transport. If that wasn't bad enough, his son was killed in the World War II while flying as an Air Force pilot. So he was devastated. He started to look for purpose in life. Up until 1948, he was not involved in any political advocacy. And surprisingly, he stepped down from his CEO position and then devoted his entire time to secure the statehood, Israel's statehood, with 2/3 of votes of the United Nations General Assembly, by influence and bribing all the Central America countries into voting yes. And the state of Israel was born. Part of it is his contribution. Sam Murray eventually returned to United Foods and saw the company being forced to break up into 3 companies because they were involved in a destabilizing factor involving the uprising, the communist uprising that involved Fidel Castro. Then today we see pieces of the United Foods in Dole, Del Monte, and many others. The original United Foods turned into Chiquita.
Oh.
No.
This is after the several ownership changes. So Sam Murray died in 1961 at the ripe age of 84, estimated fortune of $30 million. Back to his, with a big chunk of which he donated to the college, the university like Tulane, where they have a lot of buildings named after him and his family members. So is Sam Murray a story of the rags to riches immigrants fulfilling the American dreams? Is he a vicious businessman that spared no means to get to what he wants? Or is a person that fulfilled his purpose in life? I think you might agree with me. The answer is yes to all these questions.
All of the above.
Thank you.
Very good.